Hello everybody, this is Chichihiro and welcome back to another episode of my playthrough of 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. We're here with June by our side, with Saturn keycard that's gonna be used in a second. And in the previous episode, we had a very interesting conversation with Clover, didn't we? About, the whole theme this game seems to be pushing, like the whole narrative about fields that can't be seen that allow people and chemical compounds and stuff like that to be like connected. Like, is it telepathy? Is it something else? It's definitely very interesting, and I don't really see at the moment the importance that this is gonna have, but I'm so excited to find out. We're here at this place in the story here. Let me show you. We're right at a place in the story that we have seen before, but again, as you probably know if you've been watching this playthrough, it's my first time doing novel mode, so we're going to keep reading and seeing what Junpei has to say, like what the inner moral has to say. So yeah, it's the way that I want to play and the way that feels right to play. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. A light on the upper left corner blinked to
Great.
life.
It looks like it's working now.
All
All
right.
right. Now, how do I call the elevator?
There was a single button to the right of the elevator door.
Oh, it only has the upside down triangle on it.
I guess there's no up button. Well, we may as well try pushing this one.
The door slid shut, and they heard the grinding of the motor as the elevator car moved down. So it was up, huh?
It opened! Look, Jumpy!
Jun's voice was excited, but Junpei could hear a tinge of anxiety.
Sweet! It opened! Let's get going.
He grinned at June and stepped toward the open door. As he was about to set foot in it, he felt a hand on his arm.
Wait!
Oh, yeah, I remember she's scared of, because we're going down, right? So she's scared of the water. Actually, hold on. Yeah, oh my goodness, I remember now. Wasn't there like a dialogue choice coming up here in this scene? Oh no. Guys, I think we're gonna have to choose that one because this is the silly dialogue choices playthrough. I haven't forgotten about that one. Oh my goodness.
What?
I'm not really, I just, oh gosh.
Yeah, June? What are you afraid of? Junpei was at something of a loss. What could she possibly be so frightened of? Well, obviously, June was afraid of being locked up alone with a boy in an elevator. Because think about it. She wouldn't be afraid of only going down in an elevator. We're trying to explore and it's gonna be fine. Obviously, what's eating away at her is the fact that she's gonna be with her crush alone in a place like this. Yeah, I'm kidding, obviously. This is the choice that I picked in my first playthrough. That was the serious choice. But we have to be silly. And this is also the playthrough where these two are flirting with each other. Like, the sexual tension is off the charts. So obviously this is what she's worried of. She's afraid of being locked up alone with a boy. After a little thought, Junpei decided that she had to be nervous about being locked up in such a small space alone with a boy. Obviously.
Well, we will be all alone in here.
Yeah. In a way, it was kind of cute. Very demure, you say you thought. You had to choose that, huh? Very demure, very mindful. Still, even though it wasn't exactly roomy in the elevator, they weren't going to be pressed up against one another. I mean, if you play your cards right. No. At least they didn't have to be. Oh my goodness. Still, it was making her nervous. Junpei couldn't help but think how innocent she was.
Jumpy?
Uh-huh.
Huh? Oh, nothing. It's not important.
Okay.
Come on, let's go.
All right. So that was good. Again, he stepped toward the elevator. Yeah, that was a little bit of cute dialogue there. And again, he felt himself restrained.
I said wait a minute.
Why?
Aren't you afraid, Jumpy?
Yeah, of the water, right?
Afraid of what?
Well, I've never... You know.
It's your first time?
Wait. It's not over? The dialogue? Hello? What are we talking about? She'd never been in an elevator with a man alone before? Oh, it's not over yet. Oh, no. Oh. Okay. Girl. Okay, we were joking, right? Come on, it's gonna be fine. Just be normal about it. Junpei is a friend. Even so, she still seemed awfully alarmed.
I might get wet.
Excuse me? Huh? Sorry, what? Okay. Oh no. Yeah, I see. I see what's happening now, yeah. She's obviously talking about the water. But... Oh, no, I don't like this. No, stop. This is gonna give me so much second-hand embarrassment. No, it's a misunderstanding, girl. No. And of course, he's not gonna be normal about that.
What?
Yeah.
Down there. I'd get soaking wet.
No. It's... God damn it.
Well, I mean, of course you would. That's the way it works.
Wait, shut up. No. She's not talking. Oh. Yikes, man.
I mean, I've never heard of anyone getting soaking wet somewhere else.
What? No.
That's true.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna hate this. It's gonna keep going, isn't it?
You don't mind?
Mind what?
Yeah, Junpei, mind what?
Getting wet.
No.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd probably, like it.
No, you can't see my face right now. I'm like, you know the meme with the like when it's a bit of an older meme, like when you lick a lemon and then the next panel in the comic is like the whole face scrunched up. That's my face right now. And also, it's not an old meme. It's just from a couple of months ago.
Gosh, Jumpy, you're so brave.
Please realize you're not talking about the same thing in the next 2 lines of dialogue, or I'm shutting this game. I'm quitting without saving.
Really? I mean, I kind of think any guy would do the same thing, you know?
No. Okay, you have one more opportunity to stop this right here.
What happens, right? I mean, if you get the chance, you've just got to go for it. That's what a man is supposed to do, I guess.
No. What does that even mean? No.
You're so cool, Jumpy. I really admire you.
Yeah. Okay.
That doesn't really seem like the sort of thing you ought to admire someone for.
No.
I'm really scared.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you've never done it before.
Okay. Hold on. Realistically, Junpei, what do you even think is gonna happen? Like, in this situation, right? Like, what would you do? Like, would you just go for it? When we're on a time limit? Like, everybody here is, like, counting on us to do our part? Would you really just... No, actually, don't answer that. I don't want to know. Y'all, time and place.
Yes. So, I don't think I'll be able to last very long.
Come on.
And then it'll be... over.
Come on. Oh, no. She's obviously talking about... she's talking about drowning, right? She's talking about holding your breath. No.
Over?
Yes. I'll go to heaven.
Phrasing! Why? The phrasing! Why?
Heaven?
It feels kind of like you're floating in space, and your mind gets all fuzzy, like when you pass out.
I'm gonna pass out.
At least that's what I've heard from people who have experienced it.
Ah, and of course, she's talking about near-death experiences or death experiences because she's into the supernatural. No, I don't like this. I'm suffering.
Yes, I've heard that too. Although I don't think the same thing happens to guys.
What? I mean, yeah, no. What am I saying? No.
What?
Huh?
But it would happen to men too, wouldn't it? It would happen to anyone. Once it gets into your body, the same thing happens to everyone.
Why?
Oh, well, I mean, usually it doesn't go inside the man. I mean, generally.
What are we doing? What is this? Junpei!
Yes, it does.
What? What are we even talking about? This, Junpei, this right now should be the point where you start wondering what the hell are we even talking about?
Well, eventually it will. It's not like you really have a choice. Your body will force you to swallow some of it. Eventually.
Oh, no.
What are you trying to do to me?
Junpei! Don't worry, I'll explain it to you later.
Nothing. I'm not going to do anything to you. I'm just saying that that's what happens. It's a psychological reaction to what you're experiencing.
Oh, is that so?
Uh-huh. Then it's only natural? Is that what's natural for living beings? Perhaps it's been mistaken all these years. Guys, this is the good ending because Junpei has now seen the light. He understands pegging now. It's the pegging ending. But he misunderstood life so gravely, the thought terrified him. Him seemed to be entirely oblivious to Junpei's mounting confusion and terror.
I know most men probably have larger lungs, but
Come on, realize now!
even then, I don't think you could hold your breath for 20 or even 10 minutes.
Okay, now, surely now.
Eventually, you'd have to breathe, and then the water would get into your lungs.
Okay, thank God.
Once that happens, your body won't be able to get oxygen anymore, and you'll start to feel that floaty feeling as you pass out. Huh.
Are you guys done now? Are you on the same page now? Can we move on?
Oh.
Uh-huh. Okay, that was a very good laugh. Props to the voice actor. But Junpei, you don't get to laugh about this, okay? You, sir, you are a menace. You have made me suffer more than Jesus Christ for the past 15 minutes. That's what my timer says. Finally, Junpei understood. Yay! He understood what June was trying to say and why she was so scared.
Yeah, you're right. You wouldn't last very long.
Uh-huh.
See?
She was afraid that the only elevator button pointed down. That meant, of course, that the elevator couldn't go any higher than the floor they were on. Oh, jeez. That was awful. That was terrible. I have so many regrets. Can we move on? As he thought about it, Junpei realized he hadn't seen elevators on the A or B decks near the central staircase, all of which meant that the elevator could only convey them to the lower decks.
Come to think of it, the lower floor, D deck, is completely underwater.
Okay, how am I supposed to be normal about the rest? Guys, it's the start, it's the beginning of the episode. I can't stop here, but how am I gonna be serious about the rest? And we know what's coming up. It's not funny. This game has broken me.
An elevator heading to a submerged floor. That is pretty scary. Hey, wait a minute. This elevator came up from somewhere under us, right?
Did it?
Well, yes, I guess it did.
I thought, well, okay, since there are no elevator doors on the upper floors, then yeah, it did. Um, I had the impression that it did came up from, I mean, that it did came from upstairs, but it didn't. I was just misremembering where the elevator doors were.
It didn't open right away after you pressed the button.
Mhm.
There was a motor noise, like it was moving, and then it opened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So, take a look inside.
Junpei jerked his head toward the interior of the elevator.
It's not wet at all, is it? The walls and even the floor are totally dry.
Yes, and also don't say that word again, ever again. It's forbidden.
Oh, you're right. They are.
She looked around the elevator, slightly
Well,
embarrassed.
let's test it.
Tested.
Yeah, watch this. Now, I'll just put one foot inside the elevator and look over at the buttons. Oh, there's only two. E and C. All right, I'll push E.
So we're going down. He pushed the E button and jumped out of the elevator. The door slid shut, and they heard the grinding of the motor as the elevator car moved down. Right, they're gonna test right now if it's actually like, you know,
I think I can hear it opening on E deck.
like it's not like E deck is flooded and the elevator is just getting drained. It's just completely safe.
Okay, that's done. Now I'll just press the button again.
A few moments later, the elevator returned.
Yep, not a single drop of water to be seen.
Mhm.
See?
Junpei couldn't resist puffing out his chest just a little bit. June, however, still looked confused.
What does that mean? How can E deck be safe if the D deck is full of water?
Different compartments.
Well, here's what I think. The elevator shaft and E deck must be watertight and separated from wherever the ship's been punctured. Here, let me show you.
Also, I'm not sure if the ship itself is punctured. I would say it's more like something that Zero has actively designed to work that way. Because it would be too risky if it was just like a structural failure, wouldn't it? He pulled out his notebook and pen and sketched out a rough illustration.
I see. So is that why the ship hasn't sunk? The shape of the inside keeps it all from filling with water?
Yeah, I think that's what's going on.
Junpei continued talking as he closed the notebook and slipped it back into his pocket.
So I'm gonna go down and check it out. You stay here, all right?
But
Come on, just do it, all right?
He gave Jun's shoulder a reassuring squeeze, then hopped onto the elevator. He pushed the E button and the door began to close. June looked worried, her eyes darting back and forth as if she was trying to make a decision when suddenly,
I'm coming with you.
yay,
Huh?
brave girl. At the last possible moment, June dashed forward, turning sideways just in time to slip through the gap between the closing doors. Okay, that's risky. Actually, that's like a fear, like a phobia of mine. Like, ugh, it's just like getting trapped in an elevator like that. Ugh, it wouldn't be pretty.
Hey, wait!
Junpei jammed his finger against the open button, but it was too late. It's fine, she made it in.
Oh, crap, it closed!
The door had shut, he and June were in the elevator, and it was heading down to E deck. He was so surprised by June that he didn't even have time to think about what awaited him on the E deck.
I can't just let you go alone, you know.
Yeah.
Ah, jeez.
The elevator stopped and the door slid open. They tentatively stepped out and looked around.
It looks normal.
No fish going about their fishy business or jellyfish floating lazily through the water. Fishy business? Huh? Is that a euphemism? No, no, we left that behind. There was, however, a blowfish, or at least something that looked very much like one. What, is he talking about the light? June's cheeks were puffed out and her mouth a tiny intense frown. Okay, so this is what in the previous playthrough, it was just like the dialogue text, the text box, where she was like holding her breath, and I was like, is she holding her breath? This is full confirmation of what was going on. Uh-huh.
Oh, knock it off. It's just like I thought. This part hasn't flooded.
She's cute.
Come on, just look around. There's no water here.
June looked around nervously, then exhaled.
You're right. It's not flooded at all.
See?
But there's a whole lot of water.
Yeah, right on top of us.
What's gonna happen if the ceiling breaks?
Nothing good. Junpei thought about that for a moment.
Well, we'd probably get really wet up there.
Huh?
At any rate, we should probably go back as soon as we can, once we're done looking around down here. Lotus and Santa might already be back.
Okay, good idea.
Now then.
Yeah, you've wasted so much time. And whose fault is that? It's probably mine, isn't it? For choosing that darn dialogue option. Junpei glanced around the room they found themselves in. Right. The first thing he noticed was a set of thick iron bars. This gate right here with the other elevator. They ran the length of the room, separating the left elevator from the right one.
Iron bars. Well, we can't go over there.
Right.
Then maybe.
In the corner of the room that housed the elevators, Junpei found an opening. He walked up to it and stuck his head around the corner.
It looks like there's a long straight hallway down this way.
And there it is.
Something's written on the door at the end. Wait, is that...
It's door knob 9.
Let's check.
Junpei and June set off down the hallway at a brisk clip, somewhere between a run and a jog. Before long, they found themselves in front of the door. On it was a number written in bright red paint. 6.
I knew it!
This is a numbered door.
Yeah. And indeed, there was a red bolted to the wall right next to the door.
But we can't do anything with only the two of us.
Right?
We better head back and let everyone know.
Yes.
Junpei and June turned and headed back to C deck.
Wait, what's this?
On their way back, Junpei noticed a map on the wall.
Is this the
Yeah.
map for E-Deck?
And was it ever explained why that map has a big chunk burned off?
I should take it with me.
It wasn't. And my theory was it's something that Zero doesn't want us to know it's there. But who knows?
Huh, so you guys found door 1.
Uh-huh. They'd met back up with Santa and Lotus, who had explained what they found. Apparently, there was another numbered door on A deck, just like the one on E deck, beyond the door that the Earth key opened. According to Santa and Lotus, there was a 1 on the door.
So now we've located 2 new doors. The 6 door and the 1 door.
You know, it is interesting that E-Deck wasn't flooded.
Lotus was quiet for a moment, lost in thought.
Well, we don't really know if all of E-Deck is safe. We only checked the area around the elevator.
True.
Even so, it's still very interesting.
You said the 6th door was there, right?
Yes.
And that means Zero planned all this out, even the sinking. That would have meant some pretty serious remodeling of the ship's interior.
Right, this is kind of what I was saying earlier, that I don't think the puncture was like random. Like, this all seems like there's probably like a door somewhere that opens and, lets in the right amount of water. Yeah, that would make sense.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
Yeah. I wonder how long it took. I can't even imagine how much it must have cost.
It would have been a ton, that's for sure.
Well, that does go along with what Ace was saying. The most reasonable explanation would be that this was done by some organization with access to a whole lot of cash.
And oh boy, he would know that, wouldn't he? Y'all, the foreshadowing was crazy.
Yes, it does make sense.
That thought made them all go quiet for a moment. Thinking. June bit her lip, while Lotus sighed softly to herself and Santa cracked a stiff neck and stared off into the distance at nothing.
Yeah?
I don't think it's a very good idea to stay here.
June looked up at Junpei with large bleeding
Yeah,
eyes.
you're right. Ace and his team might be back already.
Well, June, Junpei, and I should be able to open door 1.
True?
Huh? You guys leaving me behind?
No, no. This is the part where we meet up with them. We discover the terrible things that happened, and oh boy, isn't that gonna be the tonal shift? And then we decide where to go. So 8 plus 6 plus 5 equals 19. 1 plus 9 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1.
Just kidding. All right, let's go.
Lotus's words were all the impetus they needed. Back to the large hospital room they went. The moment they stepped inside, a tremendous voice echoed across the room.
Hey! Where the hell did you guys go?
Yeah, it was 7.
7?
Ace was right behind him, and Clover was behind Ace, although she seemed to be hanging back.
What's wrong?
It looked as though there was something strange about them. Yeah, 7 had the look of a man who'd seen a ghost. Ace was just as pale, and Clover looked as though she was only moments from passing out entirely. From a long moment, they simply stood there looking at one another. Junpei looked around nervously, waiting for someone else to speak. No one did. He looked at 7.
What happened?
What the hell kind of question is that?
7 was trying very hard to be angry, but something had shaken him hard. His shoulders were trembling and his voice was strained.
Snake is...
7 couldn't finish. He just looked away, his face twisted by... Junpei wasn't sure what. Instead, Ace spoke. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and spoke.
Snake is... dead.
Yeah. I mean, we know what's going on. But it's still hard.
He died, just as the 9th man did.
Oh, I'm trying so hard not to say something very rude to this man in my screen. It was as if all the air had suddenly been sucked out of the room. Junpei felt his heartbeat quicken, and he realized he was having trouble breathing. He could feel cold sweat beading on his forehead and neck. June, Santa, and Lotus looked the way he felt. All 3 were frozen in place, their faces white.
Oh my God. That's not true, is it?
We should make sure.
Yeah, right. We should.
They nodded to one another and headed for the number 3 door.
Wait! Not that way!
Yeah, he rigged the door open, the other one, the one that doesn't have anything on
What?
it.
Why?
Oh, sorry, I skipped that dialogue. He said, "Why not?" They stopped short and turned to look at 7. He was pointing at the door with no number.
I stuck a screwdriver in there to keep the door from closing all the way.
Yeah,
It's not locked, so you can go in that way.
smart guy.
Where is he?
The shower room. The left side of the hallway. I put a broom in there too to keep the door open.
That means we can get in without going through the numbered door, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Then let's go.
So all of us can see exactly where he's there. Their new destination clear, Junpei and his companions headed for the door with no number. Once in the hallway, it was easy to spot the metal door on the left
This
wall.
wasn't open when we passed here before.
But now, just as 7 has said, there was a broom stuck between the door and the frame, keeping it open. Didn't he just say a screwdriver? Or am I crazy? Is this... Oh, okay. This is past the blank door, right?
Well, let's keep going.
Yeah, okay. They looked at it for a moment and stepped inside.
Oh, it smells horrible.
Oh, Lotus wrinkled her nose and covered her mouth in disgust. See, I'm expecting this bit here to be a bit graphic. So, it's just, when we examined number 5 door with the 9th man's remains and stuff, I wasn't doing novel mode yet, so I've been told that they leave out the graphic details, but this is probably going to go into a bit more depth. So if you're sensitive, then yeah, please be safe. Even Santa pinched his nose shut.
Ugh, yeah, this is pretty awful. I feel like I'm gonna puke.
It was just as bad as they said, perhaps worse. A hideous smell filled the air, so thick they could almost taste it. Ugh. It was sour and smelled of fish, pieces, and burnt meat. It worked its way through Junpei's nose and down his throat to pound against the entrance to his stomach.
Ooh.
He put his hands over his mouth and struggled to keep what little was in his stomach where it belonged.
Where is he? Where's Snake?
Yeah, this is hard. They didn't have to wonder where the body was. There was blood everywhere and a few arms of the splatter reaching towards them as they walked in through the door. All one had to do was follow the many radial arms to their source. The body itself was hidden behind a divider, and perhaps that was for the best.
June, you should stay here.
But
Please, just do me a favor, okay? All right?
He didn't give her a chance to say no. He put his hand on her shoulder as if to shove her into the ground like a tadpole, turned, and walked toward the end of the divider. Okay. I think she should be able to make her own choice here. Like, I get where he's coming from. He wants to protect her from a very horrid scene that they're about to see. But she should have the independence to decide for herself.
I'm going in.
It felt like it took an eternity for him to get there. Santa and Lotus followed, timid and nervous as a pair of children. Eventually they reached the divider. And of course, the same thing probably happened to Clover, right? 7 and Ace probably didn't want her to look. 7 was probably, honestly, like in a situation like this, I can definitely see him putting their differences aside and just like protecting her. And yeah, and what I was getting at is that Clover would probably not have seen the body itself, because if she had, she would have realized right away that's not her brother. They looked at one another and nodded slowly. Junpei put his hands on the divider and peered around the corner. For a moment, he forgot to breathe. He felt his heart collapse in his chest like an empty cigarette carton, and time froze. He knew in that instant that he would take the image before him to the grave. What was left of the body sat in a sea of blood. Chunks of flesh torn from the body sat in the blood like tiny islands in a great red sea. A vast, ragged hole had been torn in the torso, and what remained of his intestines spilled out of it like fresh spaghetti. Ugh! Smaller chunks of meat had splattered against the wall and become stuck there as they dried. Globules of yellowish fat had left trails like tiny slugs, and gravity pulled them down the wall, even as they dried to it.
Just like Ace said.
Oh yeah, this is graphic. Santa's voice was strained. Junpei suspected he was holding down some vomit of his own.
Just like the ninth man. The detonator in his bracelet set off the bomb in his gut.
Yeah, it looked as though the explosion had been quite
Oh
powerful.
god. The bone is coming out of his left arm.
And this right here, this we don't know about in this playthrough. This is where stuff is gonna branch out.
It's definitely an open fracture.
I mean, there are other things that we have learned in this playthrough that we didn't know about before, so I'm really curious, but Junpei has no idea, and he's not gonna know. His legs were both bent in an odd, unnatural way, and his left arm had split open, exposing the painfully white bone of his ulna. The bracelet lay next to him, seemed to have hit the wall hard enough to have shattered the display, which lay on the ground in pieces.
Oh, the face. It's horrible.
Right, okay, that point about the bracelet, though, that was interesting, because in the previous playthrough, I wondered, so Ace, with his number 1 bracelet and the number 9 bracelet, was able to open the door together with the number 2 bracelet. However, that wasn't Snake he shoved in. That was Guy X, as we are calling him. So, did he have Snake's bracelet? And the answer is no, because later on we find Snake and he has his bracelet. Does he have like a master bracelet that can like open any door? What's going on? And here, right here, we can see now that whatever that bracelet had on it, it's shattered, so we have no idea. That's interesting to know. Okay.
Yeah, you can't even tell who it is.
Yeah, you can't even tell who it is. Half of his head has simply collapsed. The blood coating almost made it look like raw pizza dough covered in tomato sauce. Ew, that's such a. Oh, don't compare it to food. His clothes, too, were covered in blood. The burgundy tie, the white shirt, the jacket with the yellow piping, and the gray slacks.
But the clothes are.
They were all familiar to Junpei.
No mistake about it. It's Snake.
Lotus's voice was a naturally deep and strained, and Junpei heard it catching in her throat. Oh man. Guys, this was such a weird episode. Like, in terms of like just the tonal whiplash between the beginning and the ending, I'm like mentally exhausted. So I think this is gonna be it. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're enjoying this series and would like to continue supporting me. And I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye for now.